Okay, so here's the H2X with the Torqeedo propeller, the orange Torqeedo propeller. You can just kind of barely see in there. And I've got this plastic grating, which is really actually half-inch square fluorescent light diffusing material that you get at Home Depot. The point is it flows outwards a whole lot better. Now, I've replaced the waterways, swimming pool drain grates with the same material so that the water will go in with less turbulence as well. I still use their frames. It makes it handy to screw it on. A few places where I had to remove some of the little cube shapes in order to get it to fit where the screw tangs are on those plastic mounts. Another thing I'm going to point out to you, the thing I like about Endless Pool is at the top of this, where the water comes out, is actually right about where water level is. The problem with my setup is, if you follow this line all the way around, this line here, you can see that it doesn't even really make it into the skimmer, okay? So the skimmer's too high. So you have to fill the pool up to like here, at least, in order to get the skimmer to operate. The problem is now you've got all this water that has to go like 6 inches worth of flow before it comes up, and then you start to swim on it, which sucks. And the reason why you can't go any higher is the motor's right here, and you can't cut into that. So if you were able to run this pool, you know, a lot lower in water level, it would actually operate better. But the problem is you're not going to get water to go into the skimmer. So this design, it leaves a lot to be desired. What I've decided to try is it's screwed in very flush at the top, and then it's relieved along the sides, and then along the bottom it's actually about a finger deep, not screwed in. These screws are very long. I've put in all of the screws across the bottom. They're all just biting into the acrylic. They're all along the sides. They're all along the top. I don't expect this thing to come loose, okay? But it's now what it's doing is it's sort of tilted up slightly, and it'll kind of push the water up a little bit towards the surface. The other thing that I forgot to mention was just the way we've got this thing mounted on its actual concrete pad. This side is higher up than this side. That's just the way it leans. So what sucks is now in order to get water to actually go into the skimmer at about, you know, this level, the water actually has to be even higher off of the propulsion system. So it would be great to be able to flip this whole thing around, you know, but all of our electrical stuff is right there. It goes right into the barn. All my water heating stuff is right there. It goes into the barn. We'd have to run really long leads in order to do that and reverse the direction of the pool, which we don't want to do. So someday it'd be nice to move this pool off and build a pad that is actually level, and then the water can come down a little bit and be a little bit closer to the top of this rather than all the way up to like here. Okay? So, but in any case, I've optimized the propeller so that now the motor is nice and tight. The belt shouldn't slip. The flow going into these guys now is a lot better than it used to be. Hopefully it'll cut down a little bit on turbulence. To tell you the truth, the way the Endless Pool has things where they have these tubes that come out and go along the sides of the pool for the suction of the water is actually a really good idea. There just isn't enough room in here. It gets kind of narrow in the middle of the pool to try to run something like that, because you start to hit it with your hands when you're swimming. So anyways, this is probably about as far as I'm going to go with this pool, unless I start tearing it apart and really cutting fiberglass apart and putting in like a huge, like 15-inch propeller.